So everyone says Brazil is dangerous, but I found a hidden cities in Brazil that is statistically safer than Chicago, Paris, and even New York. So, and you have probably never heard of these cities. So, in these cities, you can literally walk at night. You can leave your phone on a cafe table, and of course, still find it there when you come back. So, of course, that sounds impossible, right? But of course, it is rare, and almost no one outside Brazil knows about these cities. So, ladies and gentlemen, you already know I am Johnny Jive, your friendly travel guide to the coolest, safest, and of course, most surprise places on earth. So today we are diving into Brazil's safest hidden cities. Of course, perfect for tourists who want peace of mind and of course, Brazilian vibes. So when people think of Brazil, they imagine Rio de Janeiro's beaches. They imagine Sao Paulo's skyscrapers. And of course, or maybe carnivals. But today we are going somewhere totally different. A hidden gem that breaks every stereotype about safety in Brazil. So safety rankings are usually based on low homicide rates, crime prevention, and of course community policing. And one little city outshines the rest. So according to the latest public safety data in Brazil, this place consistently has one of the lowest violent crime rates in the whole country of Brazil, and even beating the big names like Florianopolis or Brazilians. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the city of Brusque in the state of Santa Catarina. And of course, it is a rare surprise for most travelers. So Brusque sits in the south of Brazil, and of course it is surrounded by lush hills and friendly neighborhoods. So the homicide rate in Brusque is extremely low. So one of the lowest in Brazil. I think just about 1.4 per 100,000 inhabitants. That is way safer than many places tourists think are safe. So, but here's the part that most people don't tell you about Brusque. Brusque is not just safe, it is charming. And Brusque is known for its textile heritage and of course local crafts. And they have got quiet streets and authentic Brazilian life. They have got delicious southern cuisine. They have got festivals and markets where locals love visitors. So this is not a big tourist bubble. This is everyday Brazilian life that feels secure and welcoming. So Brusque, one of Brazil's most under the radar and safest cities you have probably never heard of, should go on your travel list. So the next safest city in Brazil is Jaraguá do Sul. Of course, Jaraguá do Sul is hidden deep in the south of Brazil. So tourists usually skip this place, but locals they call it the European bubble of South America. So Jaraguá do Sul is a city where you can walk with your phone out at midnight, and the only thing that attacks you is a mosquito. So seriously, in big cities you worry about pickpockets, but here in Jaraguá do Sul, the biggest danger is eating too much chocolate. Of course, this city consistently ranked as the safest mid-sized city in all of Brazil. So the part that is very wide and shocking is that Jaraguá do Sul feels more like Germany than Brazil. So over 100 years ago, German immigrants built this town, and they kept everything. So the houses look German, the food is German, and the rules, of course, very strict. And here's the most ironic part that you don't know. Of course, this city hosts the Shooting Fest. Of course, it is the biggest shooting festival outside of Germany. Of course, this festival has got thousands of people, lots of guns, but zero violence. So it is all for sport and tradition. Of course, this city proves that guns are not the problem, but the problem is the people. So, but usually safe cities are super expensive, right? Of course, not here. You can live like a king for a fraction of the cost of Miami or London. So Jaraga do Sul has huge industries like WEC, of course, one of the biggest motor factories in the world. So people here have jobs and money, and when people have good jobs and full bellies, of course, crime goes away. That is simple math. So is Jaraga do Sul perfect for you? Well, if you hate quiet nights and strict rule, you might actually be bored here. So be honest, would you trade the excitement of Rio de Janeiro for the safety of Jaraga do Sul? Or is too safe actually too boring? Let me know in the comment down below. So the last but not the least safest city in Brazil is Blumenau. Of course, Blumenau is a small city in southern Brazil, in the state of Santa Catarina. So this city looks like a piece of Germany dropped right into South America. So of course this city have got colorful houses, they've got cobblestone streets and even Oktoberfest celebrations every year. But the crazy part is that why big cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo struggles with crime, Blumenau's crime rate is one of the lowest in the entire country. So imagine in Rio de Janeiro, you might think twice before pulling out your phone in public. But in Blumenau, of course, local says it is normal to walk home at midnight after a party. Of course, no fear, no stress. So why is Blumenau so safe? Of course, Blumenau is very safe for a few reasons. First, the community is super tight knit. Of course, everyone knows everyone, so it is like one big neighborhood watch. Then secondly, the city invests heavily in education and local jobs, so people have opportunity close to home. And thirdly, the culture here is calm, polite, and of course family focused. So the part that most people don't tell you is that southern Brazil, especially state of Santa Catarina, has some of the highest quality of life score in the country. They have got clean streets, organized traffic, and of course strong sense of community pride. But this is where it gets better. Blumenau is not just safe, it is stunning. Blumenau has got colored German style houses, so of course surrounded by green hills and rivers. Every October the city turns into a giant festival for Oktoberfest. It's of course the second largest in the world after Munich. So locals wear traditional clothes, they dance and of course celebrate for days. And if you are a traveler, you will love this city because it is close to beaches, mountains and other charming towns like Pomerode. Of course, Pomerode is known as the most German city in Brazil. So next time someone says Brazil is dangerous, of course tell them about cities like Blumenau, Brusque, and Jaraguá do Sul. Of course, these cities prove that safety, culture, and beauty can all live in one place. So, would you visit these hidden gems? Let me know in the comment down below. And if you love discovering secrets, safe cities around the world, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like and follow for more smart travel stories. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I am Johnny Jive, uncovering the world's secrets, one city at a time. So, see you in the next video. Bye bye.